podcast. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a Friday edition, folks. You made it to Friday. Hallelujah. It's a Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning. From the International Diamond Center Studios, we'll have JC. We'll have him break down all the X's and O's of the conference tournaments that he's seen so far, get his thoughts on the Players' Championship, and then we'll have Jeff Cardozo will be joining us in Tennessee today via the phone, and we'll talk a little Gators balls. Starts tonight, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by JC. JC, you know what your new name is called?
What's that? What is it?
Johnny Chalk.
Johnny Chalk. All right. Well,
You like Johnny Chalk?
I like Johnny that wins.
I was looking at your picks.
Go ahead. Yeah, how's Rory doing?
Picks.
Yeah, Rory McIlroy.
Yeah, you got Scheffler, Fleetwood, Morikawa.
How they doing?
Johnny Chalk.
How they doing? Are they winning?
None of them are winning.
Are they in the top 5, top 6, top 7?
A few of them are.
QB, I'm so exhausted. I have been up so late this week watching championship week basketball, and my God,
whose fault is that?
It feels like it's their fault for making these games so late. It feels like
they can't help it if it goes into overtime.
I know, yeah. We had some thrillers and overtime thrillers here all over the country, and it feels like I've watched every team in America but the one that we talk about the most. And finally tonight we get on the court. My gosh, it seems like it's been a long time, but it's been an awesome week of championship week. Championship week for the handicappers is as good or sometimes even better than the first 2 days of the big dance next week, just because of all the crazy action. 48 games yesterday. I just couldn't get enough of it. And it ended with my glorious Cal Poly San Luis Obispo Mustangs covering and hitting their team total and going over the number and getting ready for Cal Irvine tonight in the Big West Conference. But QB, before I get into more of this, look at what I have here. I got this. I got this. I got this. These gray ones here, I got some blue ones and black ones. These are, some guy ordered me some Under Armour pants, size 34, QB. That's a renaissance. The renaissance continues because I'm dropping from a size 40 to a size 34. So we want to get the good news out that you can do it too, America. Just drop the weight and feel better about yourself. Tonight, SEC basketball tournament is all I'm really thinking about, along with the Big Ten, ACC, all these great conferences. The Big East was awesome last night. UConn looked like the team that won the national title in the last 12 minutes of their game against Villanova, where Villanova basically did not score in 12 minutes. I mean, I know we got softball. I know we got baseball, but can I really get excited about baseball beating up on Harvard or playing some FAU or something? That's for Big Red to talk about. You guys can go all you want about that. Let me know when they play somebody that's got a pulse. And then
they're playing the national champs today, okay?
Okay. Well, when they play the national champs today, they play Tennessee, don't they? Yes. So I think that's what I was trying to lead you into, is the fact that the unbeaten Vols are now here. And now I can pay attention to that. And the thing is that I think it feels early to me, QB, that we're playing that we're playing baseball against the national champions at this stage in the year. Now, is it early, or is it comparatively about when you should be starting SEC play right now?
Well, it's the first week, so it's the regular scheduled programming that we've had for the last 10, 15
years. In the second week in March? Really?
Yeah, they're always a week behind in baseball starting conference play than softball. This is week 2 of softball conference play. They host the Lady Longhorns. Speaking of basketball last night, so I'm flipping around the channels. Yeah. First of all, if you bought a ticket to Nashville and you went to the games yesterday, you got your money's worth. They were incredible.
You really did.
But I'm flipping around the channel, and a dark horse who I think has a chance to make some noise in the tournament is Texas Tech. So Texas Tech, they hit like 13 3-pointers in the first half, JC, scored like 52 points.
And then
they could not score in the second half. But what was amazing is they went 7 minutes and 58 seconds without scoring a bucket.
Yes.
That is truly amazing to me, how a college basketball team cannot score in 7 minutes.
QB, I was going to say the same thing. And Villanova didn't score in 12 minutes last.
Yeah. How is that possible?
It is crazy, isn't it? I just think these kids get nervous for whatever reason. I mean, Texas Tech has nothing to be nervous about. They're safe in the big dance. I think Villanova was playing for their season lives in terms of the postseason, and they lost it to UConn, who looked like, world beaters, which they are not, by the way, but they looked different. And I don't know how it's possible. I just think these kids just lock up and get crazy. But look at Oklahoma last night. They're playing Kentucky. And
they're down 10 points with 90 seconds left.
And they had the game tied. They were winning.
Well, first of all, that's
Oklahoma
did that. But how do you give up a 10-point lead in 90 seconds?
Well, you turn the ball over 3 times in 40 seconds, and that's what Kentucky did. Was they turned the ball over 3 times in the last 40 seconds of the game. Oklahoma hit a couple shots, but this kid, Area, I think his name is, for Kentucky, goes baseline to baseline in 5 seconds, takes a hard left at his own baseline, drops a little teardrop with a left hand. The Oklahoma guys just let him run right by him. And the ball went in, and Kentucky wins by 1 point. And Oklahoma, I think, has played enough and done enough to get themselves into the tournament right now. I do think Oklahoma's a tournament team. I think they're going to make it. And I'm trying to think, QB, we talk about 13 teams out of the SEC or 12 teams out of the SEC.
It's going to be 14.
So I'm thinking there could be 14.
Texas is going to make it now that they won yesterday.
Well, I think Texas is. I mean,
Oklahoma's the only one that's in question.
Well, I think Oklahoma's got a little bit better. I don't know, but their records are not great, but they play in this conference, and that has to count. And I do think both of them have played their way in. I think Oklahoma's in. I think Texas is in. I think Oklahoma played great at the end of the year to get in. And I think 2 losses at the buzzer, literally, Kentucky, shouldn't hurt them that much. But I think they are good enough to be in. And LSU and South Carolina are the only 2 teams out of this entire league that probably won't. Well, that definitely won't get in. They will not. But 14 teams. I mean, so let me ask you: if they don't get 14 teams, and Texas and Oklahoma are left out, because I actually heard some folks say the net metric, whatever that means, was not quite good enough for Texas or Oklahoma. And I thought to myself, would you rather see these 2 brand names, or would you rather have Boise State and somebody like that? And I think, honestly, I don't know what they're going to do, but I think they're going to give North Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, these brand names, the benefit of the doubt when it comes to Selection Sunday, because I think it's about ratings, it's about people watching, it's about ticket sales. And honestly, Boise State, teams like that just don't move the needle for me. So we'll see. I do love the small college schools. I do love the automatic qualifiers. I said Troy is going to win their first game, whoever they play in the opening round, because of how aggressive they are going to the basket. I love the way they play. But that may not be right. They may get blown out. So, you got to have an upset here or there. You got to have some of these small colleges. You got to have their automatic qualifiers for their conferences. I get all that. But right now, I don't think we're seeing a whole lot of bubble teams play their way. Notre Dame is not going to be in this thing. That they were never.
Notre Dame sucks, Jason. They were never on the bubble.
No. I'm just saying that these are the teams that have to lose so that they don't make it, because they only can make it by beating the other teams in the conference championships of these tournaments. And tournament week, championship week is so good that right now it's mostly teams that we recognize. I don't see any Cinderella's coming through the ACC right now for sure. I mean, Clemson tried to lose last night; they really did, but they pulled it out.
Clemson's a very good basketball team. I think they went to the Elite Eight last year.
They did. They're very good. They're very well.
And they have about everybody back. They're well coached. They're not going to wow you, but they're
solid.
They're very solid.
And listen, Duke's got issues now with Cooper Flagg. He's not going to play the rest of the ACC tournament. Some say that he even may be held out of the first game that they play in the Big Dance, because they probably could win without Cooper Flagg. But if you've got Clemson like I do at 7-1 to win the ACC tournament on a ticket there you're holding, you're really happy that Cooper Flagg is not playing for Duke right now in this tournament. And today I've got North Carolina covering with Duke getting 8.5, just because Duke doesn't have their big guy. I mean, he's not going to play. He hurt his ankle, but he should be okay. I just don't think you're going to see him in the ACC tournament. I don't think you should either. Duke's fine.
Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Is Todd Golden better at game day strategy, player development, or recruiting? I think all of the above. I think he's one of those unique coaches that kind of has it all. I firmly believe that. and I think we're lucky to have him right now.
Yeah, I just love
Squirrel.
to see him play a damn basketball game. I'm ready to see.
Well, they're
Steve.
playing tonight, JC, 7 o'clock.
All right,
Hopefully.
thank God. Yeah.
Electronic Swirl, integration design specialist for smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Check them out, electronicswirl.net. We got JC here. We'll talk with Cardozo about a little baseball later. We got a text on the Titan Mark text line. This is who is this? Gator guy. Gator guy says the concern with Lagway not throwing was not much at first, but concern grows with the presser in which it is said that another QB could be taken out of the spring portal. Are you concerned there is an injury here, or if there's an injury, do you think it could have to do with DJ's baseball history? Yes, there's concern. I mean, I don't understand why he's not throwing, so obviously there's something wrong. He's too young to have this to not be throwing.
I think he's got tendonitis.
Like I said, I think kids today overtrain their arms if they're some type of a thrower. But let's just hope he heals up quickly. But again, if you've had issues through last year and then you had 4 or 5 months off in the off season and you're still having problems.
Yep.
And I know they're being cautious. I get that, but it does concern me for sure. For sure. Dan says senior night for gymnastics tonight. Good luck to the Lady Gator gymnastics team. Franklin on YouTube, brought to you by Claude Plumman, says Todd's in line for a nice raise. I think he got a big raise last year. I don't know.
I think he did.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll do that this year.
Well, look, I mean, this team is loved universally. I'm telling you, QB, I watch VSiN, I watch Sports Grid, I watch all these shows that handicap these games. This is their livelihood. This is what they do. Everybody, and this is kind of what concerns me a little bit. While you worry about DJ Lagway, I kind of worry about the fact that the whole world is all over. The whole world is all over Florida. I mean, they universally love the Gators. By the way, hello JLP, appreciate that on YouTube. They love the Gators. The Gators are everybody's favorite team. They just love the way Florida plays. I think they love the way Florida covers. They love the way Florida has that inside-outside game with guards and big boys, and they love the way they're coached, like you were talking about. I think the Gators are a team that people are going to bracket all the way to San Antonio pretty commonly. I really do. I think it's so this big professional gambler named Bill Krakenberger, the crack man, he loves the Gators. This guy's been doing basketball for 40 years. He couldn't quit talking about the Gators. He goes, this is the one team in America that is as good as it is, that is as ranked as highly as it is, that nobody talks about, it seems like. They ignore this team, and that to their peril, they ignore this team. This team is a machine. So anyway, if you get the crack man talking about you, and this is a guy who's been around, I just learned about him yesterday, but he's a pro. He's been around for 40 years, and he's all over the Florida Fighting Gators. So I know that your day is now made that the crack man loves the Gators, and that you know that the crack man loves the Gators. But that's a team that's
I was waiting for that to
highly thought of in Las Vegas is the Florida Fighting Gators. So we'll see. I hope the expectation level doesn't get to them. I think it'll be fine.
They'll be fine. I think the fans worry about stuff that the team ain't worried about. Reggie on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, I have to disagree with JC.
Okay.
Putting teams in just because they move the needle. The better team should go to the tournament. That's what makes Cinderella stories and what people are drawn to when it comes to the tournament.
Okay, Reggie, that's a very good point, and I don't disagree with that at all. I just think the reality is that you're going to get these guys to pump up teams like North Carolina when they're talking about them if they do enough to get in. And I agree with you. I love these small schools, but honestly, if you had Oklahoma on a court right now with the way they're playing, and you put Boise State on that same court, are you telling me that Boise State's going to beat them? Maybe, but I'd take
it'll be a good game. Boise ain't bad, JC.
They're not bad, but buddy, look, this Oklahoma team can get to the rim. Porter Moser is a very good coach. I'm just saying that I think the brand names are going to get the benefit of the doubt this year. I don't know if that's always the case, but I think this year that's what's happening. I don't see a whole lot of Cinderellas coming out of these conference tournaments right now, QB.
Well, you really don't have a whole lot of Cinderellas year in and year out. It's like once every 5 or 6 years you'll get one. But
Well, I mean, a team that's going to take up a spot by winning its conference tournament or playing to the final that normally would not have made it after the regular season. These conference tournaments can make or break it for some schools.
yeah,
And I think they play that way. For other schools, it's just an exercise to keep your legs going until the next week. But I don't disagree with what Reggie is saying. I think he makes a good. I mean, I do like watching these small schools. I've been watching these small conference tournament games all week long. I've got sleep deprivation this week, and it's okay. It's March Madness, and that's a choice. And I just love watching it. I love watching these tournament games. I loved watching Wofford. I loved watching Troy. I loved watching these small schools do it. Montana, the Grizzlies hit threes all day long. Cal Poly has a 14-second shot clock. They are third in the country. Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is third in the country in three-point efficiency. Think about that. Third. So,
yeah.
hey, that's good stuff.
Got some
man.
good shooters, obviously.
Good to watch.
JLB on YouTube, brought to you by Clark, said, "What about the Creighton game? They came
like
back
JLB.
17
That's
down."
Oh, Creighton.
Yeah, they were down 11 with like 2 minutes to go.
They were dead. They were dead and buried. The guys on VC were burying them. It's all over for the Blue Jays. Greg McDermott's a bum. They're soft, blah, blah, blah. And then DePaul remembered that they were DePaul. But DePaul played great last night. They did. They played great. So Florida's just got to come out. This is the thing. The first half in the tournament game sometimes can be a little slow moving, but these teams are coming out of the gates pumping it up. And so it's fun to watch. And I think today is going to be an unbelievable day. Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and Tennessee all hit the courts today. Texas is going to be asked to win today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Think about that. 5 straight games the Longhorns will have to win the tournament. That's a tough thing to ask.
31 M Burr says, JC, you can't predict the Cinderellas. That's why they're Cinderellas.
Cinderellas, yeah, man. I knew in the cartoon on Disney World that Cinderella was the blonde girl that scrubbed the floor. I knew that, but yeah. He's right. I mean, it's exciting to watch these no-name somebody comes out of nowhere and shocks the world. You know, usually a 2 not usually, but sometimes a 2 will beat a 15. These teams that are trying to get in don't want to be a 16 and face a 1, and they're trying to avoid being an 8 or a 9 to face a 1 in the second round QB. You know that, right?
I realize that, but they have no control over what
they really don't. Wilmington is going to be a high seed, a low seed rather. Yeah,
they can shoot the basketball too. All right, I want to give a shout out. Being on the Gator Golf Booster board, I got to give a shout out to our players over at the TPC. We got 4 guys in the top 31.
Who does?
Jagus leads the tournament right now, 6 under par. Billy Horschel's 5 under, tied for 4th, and then tied for 31st. Both Toasty and Castillo, 2 under par. So we got 4 Gators that should make the cut unless all hell breaks loose.
And it won't. There's no wind. There's nothing.
There was a little bit of wind yesterday, but hardly any.
Tomorrow and Sunday, they say the wind.
Here's what I love hard golf courses, right, JC? You know I love hard golf courses.
Yes, you do. You love hard golf.
I think I'd be a great architect for a golf course. Because you know what I would definitely do is
real rough.
Well, first of all, I would put some bunkers on 16, kind of near where they land the ball on their drives, trying to hit that little draw around the corner.
Yeah.
That would cause some issues. 18, I'd move the tee box back another 35 yards because think about yesterday, they were hitting wedges into that green.
On 18?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's supposed to be like one of the hardest finishing holes in golf.
Billy Horschel birdied it and hit a freaking like gap wedge into it.
QB, that's just not the way it's been. I think
they're too long. You got to lengthen the course, shrink the fairways.
How about do something with this equipment? I mean, come on. These guys are the same looking dudes. I mean, to me, 10 years ago, they look the same as they do today. Are they stronger?
They are stronger and in better shape.
Really?
Yes. You trying to tell me Jack and Arnie and those guys actually worked out?
Those guys hit percent.
They had little
woods
fat bellies
they fat bellies. So QB, how about Brent English? Got his vasectomy done 4 years ago during March Madness, best week of his life. Brent, that is strategically an incredibly well thought out plan to do your vasectomy during March Madness. Outstanding clue there. I mean, great move there, Brent. I think that was excellent. Well done. But Kimmy Clark, I mean, that 18th hole is one of the hardest finishing holes in golf. And now
it ain't. Not anymore.
Well,
those dudes are hitting 3-wood.
Tell me
why.
Wood,
and they're going 3-wood, wedge, and 9-irons. That is not a hard golf hole.
The clubs are corked and the balls are juiced. That's the way I'm looking at it. The balls are juiced. We got juiced balls, QB.
Well, they do play with a different ball than me and you play.
Oh, yeah, they do. And maybe the shafts are a little different too, I might add.
Well, they got great technology. And here's the other thing. Oh, so the reason I wanted to bring that up is a guy I work with, our sales manager at Baker's.
Love Baker Sports.
We're such a big account for FedEx.
Yeah.
And FedEx had something to do with the players. So he got to walk with this threesome all day, all 18 holes, did everything with them.
Yeah.
Sanjay M.
Oh, boy.
Max Homa.
Okay.
Shot a freaking million.
Yeah.
And he's a lefty, so he was fired up. Robert McIntyre from Scotland.
Bobby Mack.
He said Bobby Mack cusses like a sailor after every shot.
Man, I tell you, I went to Scotland in August. It is a wonderful country. God, it's a great place. They got their crap.
Their food is terrible.
It wasn't that bad during the week I was there because the Women's Open was being played. But, I mean, it's different. It's just, it's just a great place. If you can handle the weather and not worry about that so much, the people there are just wonderful. I really love the Scots. I have to say, I love the Scots. They celebrate, they sing, they dance, they drink, they golf, and they do it all over again the next day. It just seems like they really love Americans.
This day in sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial
bring money.
Campus USA Credit Union. 2022 PGA Players Championship. My guy, which he's kind of, I forgot about him because he's playing on that other tour. Yeah. Cam Smith wins $3.6 million, the biggest individual event purse in golf history. I don't know what they're playing for now. What are the winner makes probably about $4 million?
They've got to combine this. They've got to combine these leagues again. They got to get with the Saudis and figure this out. Brooks Koepka's basically say he's going to play out his contract because of the obligation he has to the Live Tour, but he doesn't want to be on that tour, dude. I'm telling you right now, he hates being out of this tournament specifically. He hates being not talked about anymore. I know they do. I mean, John Rahm. Does anybody talk about John Rahm? Does anybody? Do you ever hear John Rahm's name again? Mm. This guy was on top of the world. He's gone into irrelevance right now. So what? He got $500 million. Really? He can't spend that, and the next 6 generations of his family is not going to be able to spend that. I'm just thinking it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These guys just took the money and ran, and they left the main stage. It was stupid. I'm sorry. 500 million, 200 million. What's the difference?
Speaking of money, did you see? I saw an interview on Twitter briefly about Josh Allen. They were talking about restructuring his deal and how Dak makes more money than him. And
he doesn't care.
Basically, Josh Allen said, what's another $5 or $10 million for me to surpass him? He goes, my life isn't going to change. He goes, I have a house, I have a car. That's all I need.
Well,
I love Josh Allen.
He's got $250 million guaranteed by Buffalo to stay the Bills quarterback for the rest of his life, and I think that's fine. I think Buffalo is just a charismatic place that loves their Bills more than life itself almost. And 1 year, I think it's going to happen with him as their quarterback. They're going to win the Super Bowl 1 year. I don't know if it'll be more than that, but at some point the Bills are going to win. I don't know when, but hopefully while he's there, because right now his timeline is coincided with the best of the best of all time with that guy in Kansas City. So we'll see.
Yeah, he was born at the wrong time.
Right.
All right, JC, before we get out of here, let's tell me who wins today, Auburn, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I tell you, Ole Miss looked good yesterday. Won on a 3-pointer. I think Auburn's going to come out blazing. I think Auburn comes out blazing. I think Auburn's going to try to win this tournament. I don't think the way they like.
You think Auburn covers the 11.5?
No. You just said who was going to win, but if
I'm going to ask you both here.
Well,
Tennessee plays Texas today.
I think
they're a 9.5-point favorite.
That's a big number. I think I'll take Tennessee just because of their defense, and Texas is going to probably poop out.
And the Mighty Gators are 8.5-point favorites over the Mizzou Tigers.
Mississippi State had these guys. Give me Florida just because they're a covering machine. And Kentucky, Alabama, I definitely like Alabama in that one.
So Kentucky and Alabama is going to start about 10:25.
Yeah, you're going to need some 5-hour energy. Maybe go do some jumping jacks, walk outside in the cool air, get yourself awake. That's going to be a track meet tonight. I think I like the over better, 179.5. I'd play over that. And maybe Texas covers with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee could come out slow, 15 points at the 10-minute mark, something like that. But Tennessee, defense travels. We've all heard it. I think this team is playing well at the right time. And Ole Miss, I'm going to take that back. I think they are going to cover against Auburn, but I think Auburn's going to get off to a fast start, and Ole Miss is just going to chip away and backdoor that 11.5. That's a tough number. These are tough spreads because you got the Big Four playing, but these other teams they're playing against are all tournament teams. It's all going to be pretty fun to watch. I think we've got a great day of basketball lined up. Another game that I really love today is Oregon. Oregon gets 6.5 against Michigan State in the Big Ten championship, Big Ten tournament. I love Oregon, and I love the way Wisconsin plays. I think they beat UCLA. Mick Cronin has basically said he doesn't care about this tournament. He's tired of the traveling back and forth across the country. He just wants to get to next week. I don't think UCLA is going to put up much of a fight tonight. I like Wisconsin getting basically a point against the Bruins. And watch out that Illinois-Maryland game. That is going to be a very good game to watch in the Big Ten. Both these teams can score. Maryland's a very good team. A lot of people talking well about them, talking that they could be a sleeper to get to the Final Four. Not many people think Maryland can do it, but Maryland's a very strong team. And I think North Carolina will cover that 8 points against Duke because Duke is just basically trying to stay healthy as they get ready for next week. They lost their best player yesterday. So we'll see if he can make it back by next week. I'm predicting he will, but the ankles are nothing to fool around with, QB. And BYU, they will keep it close.
They
with
can shoot the
lights. Shoot. My gosh, they can shoot. They're getting 8 points against the Cougs. I kind of think that's a good team to take if you want points tonight. BYU. Yeah.
Just to recap, the Peachland Dental weekend golf picks again. I have Ludwig Oberg, Hideki Matsuyama, Russell Henley,
he played
Clark, and Xander Schauffele. Johnny Chalk has Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry.
Johnny's got the winners.
Real quick, Mark brings up a good point here, and I didn't really realize they changed clubs, but this is brought to you by Quality Plumbing. He says, look at who's at the bottom of the field. Max Homa and Vic Hovland. Great idea to change clubs.
Now, Victor Hovland's fooled around with his career, and I don't know why, because he's kind of disappeared.
God, for a while, he was like the
best ball striker out there. He fired his coach. He's fired this guy. He fired that guy. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. He can't sit still. But QB, watch out for Rory. I certainly think that course is his playground, and I like him. I don't know. I mean, it's fun to watch Billy Horschel. I mean, he's a Gator. He's gonna do well up there. See, I got my Gator logo here on my player's hat. See that? And this is a great week. This is a great week. Championship week in college basketball and golf, and then you've got Gator baseball playing defending Natty champs. Big Red's going to tell you all about it.
Yep. He is waiting, so we got to
I'll let you get to Big Red.
Kick you off the show.
I like it. I'll listen to Big Red. I can listen to Big Red all day. He's got that voice.
Have a good day, JC, watching basketball. JC, join us on the Titan More hotline. We're going to take a quick timeout, come back, talk Gator baseball with the voice of Florida Gator Baseball, Jeff Cardozo. You're watching Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, Dave & Buster's, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management, Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mike Pouncey, and this is my twin brother Marquise Pouncey, and this is Life After Football.
Let's go.
We are the owners of Tropical Distillery, and JF Hayden's is our liqueur brand. We have 5 different flavors: a mango, a lychee, an espresso, citrus, and key lime pie. We pride ourselves on not only being a Florida-made brand, but also a cocktail solution. With that being said, cheers and go Gators.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians. Great food and southern hospitality in the center of the universe, Brooksville, Florida, floridacracker.com. Back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by the voice of Florida Gator Baseball, Jeff Cardozo. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, my man?
Howdy. Good morning. All's good. Yeah, ready for an exciting weekend. Should be good.
Well, first, how was TPC yesterday?
It was great. I think the weather's probably the best since I've only gone about 4 or 5 times, but it was amazing yesterday. And, everybody was there, of course, except for Tiger. But, you had everybody following around Rory and Scheffler and Shoffley in the afternoon group. But then Billy Horschel was right before them, so I got to see Billy a little bit. And then it's cool. I mean, you just get that perspective of, we think we're really good at golf, and you watch them, and the fascinating part is just, all the pine straw and everything else. And anytime somebody would get in there and it's really thick, and they punch out no problem. And the interactions with the caddies and how you can hear them talking to each other and what they're going to do. And, I think Shane, you and I would just grab a club and try to whack that thing out of there, but they're strategy and everything involved. So that's why they're so damn good.
Yeah, it's crazy how good they are. No doubt about it. All right, so the Gators play tonight, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I'm not sure. Same time tomorrow night, and then afternoon game against the defending national champs, the only undefeated team, I believe, left in college baseball. Just give me your thoughts and overall what you think the Gators need to do to beat this Tennessee team.
Yeah, they got to pitch, and, I think that's what was really cool to see on Tuesday, and I wondered how is Florida going to be able to handle on the road. Florida State was undefeated on Tuesday, and they're going to have to throw some freshmen or some young guys that may not be ready for all this, and you're probably going to have to throw Philpott at the end of the game, who got destroyed last year in Tallahassee. He was really awful. So how are they going to be able to handle it? And I just think that hostile environment is something that they at least showed on Tuesday that they can handle. Now they're doing a bunch of construction in the stadium. There's no press box right now. I think we're sitting in a makeshift pod or something with plexiglass all over it. So we'll see if we can get that removed. But, I think it's can these guys handle it? And no Coppola now. So Aiden King has to go in the rotation. And does that mean now a freshman that wasn't maybe going to pitch now has to pitch in the middle of a game in a big situation, and how they handle it? Because Shane, all these guys are really damn good when you get to this level, but some don't get it mentally. And when you step over that white line, they got to be able to control it and harness it and not worry about it and go throw strikes. And Tennessee is really good at hitting the baseball.
Yeah, speaking of that, I've never been to their ballpark, but and I know they're the defending national champs, and they can swing the sticks. But I feel like, what are the dimensions of their ballparks? I feel like sometimes they hit a pop-up and it's a home run.
Yeah, it's a joke. Everything that goes out to right field, really similar to what we saw in Tallahassee. It's only 320 down the line, or at least they tell you it's 320. But I think I walked it off one year, and it's about 306, and then it's got that high wall. So Knoxville is kind of the same. Ball really travels out there. I remember Cags hit a ball there a few years ago that was well over the scoreboard and, flying into the parking lot that's out there. It might be one of the furthest balls I've ever seen hit. So, yeah, they lead the country in homers, but you're exactly right. A lot of them seem to be like pop-ups and shouldn't get out, at least in normal places. So anxious to see now if they're handling real pitching, like obviously Florida has. I don't think that they're going to be as good as they have been in that ballpark.
Yeah. So when you talk about the Gators, obviously a lot of new faces on this roster. Who early in the season before conference play has stood out the most to you from the newcomers?
I think he's not a newcomer, but certainly a veteran guy. But Bobby Bozers might be the best player on the team. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. Guys hitting backside home runs, doing all these great things. Actually played a really solid third base. So certainly been impressed with him. And then Brendan Lawson, he's the only freshman in the lineup, but that dude can really hit. It's kind of crazy. He keeps his hands up really, really high. So sometimes you question, is he going to be able to get his hands back down and through? And you can see some people really trying to attack him on the inner part of the plate now, and certainly with breaking balls. So I'm anxious to see if the velocity of Tennessee and how they can handle it. But the dude's hitting 5-hole, and he's been really, really solid. A lot of big 2-out RBI and different things that are happening. So, those two guys right there in the middle part of the order have been pretty special, and certainly a reason why this offense is good. But Shane, it's awesome to see, because last year, you'd go about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the lineup, and then 6, 7, and 8, 9 was a crapshoot. There's a bunch of outs there. You never knew what you were going to get. But now you've got a guy like Ty Evans hitting 8 or 9, and I know he's streaky, but he was hitting the middle of the order last year. So I think the ability to really lengthen the lineup has changed the dynamic of this team night and day from last year.
When you look at two guys that played last year, obviously Donay and Shelton, obviously they worked on their swings, they changed, they tweaked this, tweaked that. How hard is that, Jeff, to do that when you've kind of probably had like the same batting stance or the same swing for so many years? How hard is that to change in a course from last year to this year?
It's work. So I think you give both of those guys a lot of credit for putting that in, and then you've got to have coaches there that are willing to work with you and put in all that work. So yeah, a lot of credit goes to Chuck Girolman and Taylor Black and the guys that are working with those hitters and doing some great things. And Shelton's been incredible. Again, he's got probably 25 or 26 hits now on the year, and I would say at least half of them are left field. And the 2-strike approach has been really good. He hit the backside home run in Tallahassee just with a lot of pop that way. He got robbed of a ball against Harvard, which would have been another double. It was funny because the Harvard third baseman couldn't field like slow ground balls, and then the dude hits like a rocket right at him, and then he takes it away from him. So you never know. But yeah, so I think Shelton's been really good. And I think he's making a lot of money because of it. Because last year it was, I'm going to hit 20 homers, but it's a big ass swing, and he strikes out the other 2 or 3 at bats a game. But he's been very good, not striking out, really shortening up. Donay's still the iffy part of all of it. When we talked about lengthening the lineup, it's almost like I wish Donay was down at the bottom part of the order. But I think people know who he is. You might as well put him in the cleanup spot because he could run into a baseball. But it's still, I think they're attacking him differently. A lot of curveballs early on in the season, but now all of a sudden, I think it's almost like mentally he's expecting curveballs, so he's getting blown up by fastballs. And, they're only 92, 93. So we'll see what the velo of Tennessee does. Hopefully he can just have a mindset of trying to hit the ball the other way because he's got the pop to do it that side. But, yeah, his swing is so different, too. It takes up the entire batter's box. There's not really much stride. And it's simplistic. And, the strength of these guys, as you know, they're so big and strong. They just have to make sure they put the barrel on it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a pretty good result when they do that.
Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. It says, Jeff, how is Michael Byrne contributing to the staff, and is he working to return to his pro career?
He is. Yeah, he's hurt this year, so that he decided to come back, finish up his degree, and be that kind of volunteer student guy while he's able to do that. He just had a baby too, so I think he's nice, having that stability here for a year to be able to do that. So I think his hopes are to try to go pitch again. And it's just another guy to look at everything. Because, Shane, he wasn't the hardest thrower, but he competed his ass off. And I think that's what was so great about him. So to bring that mentality to the pitchers and be able to kind of teach them that mindset, and having Rivera part of the staff too. So, one of the best pitchers on that staff that won a national title, and certainly the catcher. So I think that more than anything is what he's contributing. And he's, making sure guys know what it takes when they step out on the mound to be successful, how to pitch, how to, if you don't have your best stuff that day, what are you going to do? How are you going to still be able to get people out? And I think he's done a great job at all that.
Yeah, we got a text on the Titan MR text line from James. He says, Jeff, what are your thoughts on the bullpen in non-conference play so far?
Yeah, I still think I'm a little scared about what's going to happen, like lefty on lefty matchup. Frank Menendez is having some arm stuff going on right now too, so the injury bug is hit a lot of these guys, and certainly Coppola is still out, and it might be that way for another 4 or 5 weeks. And now you've got to bring somebody else, like we're talking about with Hayden King, into the rotation, so that it relies on the bullpen to have some guys that maybe haven't much experience or haven't been as good. So there's going to be a couple of freshman arms, lefty-wise, they're going to have to come in and throw strikes in a big spot. So that's probably my worry. But Luke McNeely was amazing the other day against Florida State. And, he actually pitched pissed off, which was really nice to see, because I almost feel like he was going through the motions against Harvard. He kind of got roughed up a little bit, and even the midweek appearance that he had before that. But now it was like this fire-breathing dragon, and he looked like he was pitching with a little purpose to it. So it was fun to see. So if McNeely can give you a couple of innings on Friday and Sunday every single weekend, then I think they're going to be fine there. And then Philpott can certainly be lengthened out at the end of a game as well. So I'm not too worried. I just think there's going to be less guys in that bullpen now. So Sully's going to have to just rely on maybe a core 3 or 4 or 5 guys out of that bullpen to pitch a lot more than what we thought they would have to do.
Meopolis Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Meopolis Cafe. 5 locations in Gainesville and Latry, never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. A few more minutes with the voice of Gator Baseball, Jeff Cardozo, here on the Titan MR Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Titan MR text line. Daryl asks, Jeff, is Ashton Wilson just down on the depth chart because of talent?
He is, yeah, and it's kind of crazy to think that, because, this is a guy that was a huge part of the postseason run last year, and he had as many ribbies as Cags did in the postseason last year. But, yeah, it's pretty obvious now that they've got Sear in there, what Hayden Yost has been able to do, certainly what Justin Nato has brought from Jacksonville. The guy's hitting about 400. His on-base percentage is absolutely ridiculous. And then you got Ty Evans back. So I don't think that there's enough spots. Even Landon Stripling, I think with Curlin going down, he's gotten more opportunity than what we thought. So they've had to move Lawson second base, put in first in. You get that, at least an extra bat in the lineup. But yeah, that's really it. It's, sometimes that's just the way it is. Guys are better, and Sully hit the portal pretty hard and brought in some dudes that outperformed Wilson. And he'll just be one of those pinch hit guys and come in, and if, maybe a tough lefty, he can come in and start that game or something with, and sit down Yost or somebody else. But remember, even you had another injury, the kid that came in from Stetson, Kyle Jones, he was supposed to be the everyday center fielder, and now he's out for the entire season. So that just shows you the type of depth that outfield has this year.
Yeah. Dan on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, wants to know what's your favorite ballpark.
Ooh, that's actually a good question. Probably Ole Miss. It's the environment's incredible.
Is it better than Starkville now?
Yeah, I think so. I think ballpark-wise, Starkville's better, like from the amenities and all the things that it has. But I love the environment at Ole Miss. I love going there and being a part of that. We get to the last time we were in Starkville, 2 times ago, they were renovating Starkville, so we had to kind of do the games from the concourse, which was kind of weird. And that was when I'll never forget this story. So we're basically in the stands, and this lady, as the Gators were winning, she got so pissed off about Dan Mullen being at Florida. She just turns around and starts NFing us in the micro. F you, Mullen, you guys suck, all this stuff. So I'm just cracking up trying to do the broadcast. So I'd actually turn the mic down just because she was so obnoxious. Yeah, I really like Ole Miss. Everything they do, certainly the beer shower out there, and it's cool how you can, just have that area upstairs where everybody can sit. But everybody in the West is so good now. LSU's nice, but I don't think LSU is special. I actually like South Carolina a lot, too, as a ballpark. So there's some really good ones for sure.
Jeff, I want to ask you about arm injuries. I mean, obviously, we all know pitchers have arm issues, but, we've had a lot of discussion the last week or so about DJ, what's going on with his shoulder. And I was just saying, look, I think in today's world, these modern athletes, they do too much for their arms, possibly. I don't know if that would be the case for baseball. Go back to your playing days. Obviously, you did some exercise and you did a lot of stretching and, rehab, but I think today they would maybe overtrain their arms, and that's why they have so many problems.
Yeah, and that's the result of this, travel ball stuff, Shane. It's really hard. I honestly, I didn't really lift a weight till I got to Florida. I was just this little skinny guy with a kind of a rubber arm. Yeah, same thing. And then they try to do it. So, but the problem is now you have everybody going to the gym at 12 and 13 years old, and they're starting to strengthen themselves, and they're not only pitching during their high school season or middle school season, they're then having to pitch all summer and then having to pitch again in the fall. So there's not many people that go from football to basketball to baseball like we did back in the day. It's literally year round of throwing and pitching and doing all these things. And then everybody wants to see velocity now. So the problem is they train to get this velocity, and it's just this high burst, high energy, go all out, balls to the wall kind of thing. And then the arm can't handle it. It's just not built enough at that young of an age to be able to sustain it. So you might as well just give every kid Tommy John when they're in high school, fix a ligament, and then, maybe they'll be good for college. I think that's what it's almost turning into. It's really tough to see because, again, a college wants you to throw as hard as you can, but then that's jeopardizing everything else. And then you also have guys that can't pitch because they don't know how to pitch, so they're just trying to throw as hard as they can. So it's a whole big mess, but nothing's going to change. I mean, everybody wants to see how hard they throw, and that's all people care about. I mean, you could have a 5 ERA or something in high school, but, you throw 96, and a college is going to want you over the guy that's throwing 88 that's got under a 1 earned run average. It's getting everybody out. That's just what baseball's turned into.
Yeah. All right, before we get you out here, last text on the Titan Mar text number, and George, I saved this one for last. He says, Jeff, how chippy will it get this weekend? I just get this feeling that Sully and Vitello do not get along.
Yeah, there's no love lost there. Vitello's actually an okay guy. I think if you play for him, he really cares about the players. But, yeah, he's very boisterous. Their pitching coach is this older guy who is very vocal. I know there's been some words back and forth. And, I don't like Tennessee either. I think the fan base and what they do is pretty obnoxious. But the problem is, their radio guy is like one of the nicest guys on the planet. So it's like, you want to hate these guys and talk some smack, and then you talk to this guy and, you're in a good mood before the game because he's so positive and all the things that go on. But, yeah, it'll definitely be chirpy on the field. Although I will give Vitello this. I remember a couple of years ago they're doing the coat and all the just obnoxious stuff and celebrating home runs. He's actually toned that down, and I think it's made them a better team. Like they were they were just the bad boys of college baseball, and it wasn't the right fit. And I think now that they're playing better, certainly they're getting great talent. They're still going to talk some smack, but they do it in a better way, at least more of a right way that makes it less than it was.
I forgot to look at the weather, but isn't there going to be some bad weather tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be brutal. Like I was talking to some of the guys so they said 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts of wind potentially and 2.5 inches of rain. Although selfishly, since I got a rental car now, if they cancel Saturday, I'm hoping we win in basketball tonight. I might sneak over to Nashville and go to the basketball game tomorrow and then drive back for maybe a doubleheader on Sunday.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
That would be true. Cool. No doubt about it. Jeff, travel safe, my friend. Appreciate your time, and we'll be listening on the call this weekend.
All right. Sounds good. Have a awesome Friday, everybody.
Yep, that's Jeff Cardozo, the voice of Gator Baseball. Join us on the Titan Memorial Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Injuries occur whenever and however, and it's never convenient. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health OrthoCare makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings. Walk-ins are welcome. Check them out, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. I want to thank Cardozo and JC for joining us. Remember, Gators tip supposed to be 7 o'clock. It should be because it's in the middle of the middle session. So they should tip around 7 against Missouri. And then a lot of basketball, a lot of golf to watch, and obviously Gator softball and Gator baseball and gymnastics as well. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll recap it all on Monday. Take care.